Dave, why don't we wrap up though with a movie? Did you see this in person?
Did not.
Oh, you. So this is you're watching it through a film festival though, right? It's all
Correct.
virtual.
So I saw Minari
Hmm.
uh, at the Independent Film Festival of Boston. Last year, I attended that in person and got to see Marriage Story early, which was great. It was kind of cool to be in that festival, packed crowd vibe with a bunch of film fans. And like, it's a unique energy that I hadn't experienced before. Obviously, with COVID, all film festivals have been listed. LA one's been doing like drive-in things, but everyone usually is just doing kind of virtual stuff. And it was cool that I was able to sign up and see this. Minari was their opening night film, and this is a movie that was at Sundance earlier this year, physically, of course, where it won the Grand Jury Prize and Audience Award for Drama, um, and has been getting a lot of hype as an A24 film produced by A24 and Plan B, and currently sitting at 100% Rotten Tomatoes with 34 reviews. So there's been a lot of hype about Minari. Does not currently have a release date yet, but it's been playing more festivals virtually in the fall. They're gonna really A24 is gonna put it out soon with Oscar hopes. And I'm getting to those Oscar hopes. But yeah, so I got to see that virtually. It was kind of interesting to get something and I get the link and it's like you have 4 hours to watch this. After those 4 hours, fuck you. You paid, doesn't matter. And like that kind of
Wow.
like constraint was interesting. So I just like turned off my phone and watched it on my TV, and it was pretty cool. Um, and most importantly, the movie's really great. And it stars Stephen Yun, who I think people that have been paying
Hmm.
attention have realized is like a real one when it comes to acting. I thought he was Oscar worthy in a supporting role in Burning 2 years ago. This is another film in Korean. It's directed by Lee Isaac Chung, a Korean American, which is a semi autobiographical tale about the immigrant experience in America. And Stephen Yun, who plays Jacob Yi, and his wife, who's a bit of a newcomer in Korea, Han Ye-rei, who plays his wife Monica. They move from California to Arkansas. And Jacob really wants to start a farm and kind of become more independent financially in his life. And he brings us two young kids with him, and that's kind of the story. And it's about you know um, coming to grips with your own identity, both within your family, within the world, stuff like assimilation into culture. And it's incredibly captivating the whole time, really heartwarming. Alan Kim, who plays David, the young boy who's at the center of the story, uh, really precocious child performance.
Hmm.
Obviously, child performances are often a mixed bag. And listening to Lee Isaac
Yep.
Chung talk about this, Alan Kim was actually the youngest boy to audition for this role, which is kind of remarkable, honestly. But he was really good, and it's an important piece of the story because his character David is like probably like I don't know 8 years old, 10 years old, pretty young, and he has like a heart murmur, and it's like something that kind of is hovering over the story the whole time, and there's the conflict between Jacob and Monica about we moved kind of to this rural area in Arkansas. Hospital's kind of far away now. We have a kid who has a medical condition, and then Jacob is really motivated to make things work for this family, and things get complicated further when they bring Monica's mother, the kid's grandmother, comes over from Korea. It's played by
Hmm.
Yuh-jung, who's a famous uh, actor in Korea who's been in a million things, and she was really great in this. And I would just, I don't want to really spoil what happens, but Will Patton, one of the few like white characters with a lot of lines, he kind of plays his like Pentecostal Christian character who's helping Jacob on the farm. Really, I think measured but effective performance from him. And I would just say that seek out Minari when it's available. It'll probably be on VOD eventually. They'll probably do some limited theater runs first, but again, we don't know the plans yet. But really captivating, I think, heartwarming story, and yeah, I think it looks really awesome, and it's really just all character. And
Yeah.
if you've been on Stephen Yun, I think this will make you feel really good. I think he's definitely in the mix, if not getting close to the lock category for Best Actor nomination,
Mm.
which would be very well earned. Really rooting for that. So stay tuned on Minari, but it's definitely worth the hype.
I really love how there's been so many more Asian stories being made into film and that are becoming more aware in the American film industry and consciousness. I think it seems like there's a lot of meat on that bone to explore, and even if the story isn't necessarily much different than something that could happen in the United States, I think the cultural aspects of it seem to really give it a new twist that makes it super interesting and engaging. From everything you're describing, it seems like the character development and exploration of this is top notch.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lee Isaac Chung, this is definitely his highest profile movie today. It was his fourth film, but he notably, very notably, has been tapped to film the live action adaptation of Your Name, which is, of course, the uh, highest grossing anime film of all time from 2016. So we'll be seeing more of Lee Isaac Chung very soon. But yeah, I think Minari, it's A24's jewel, I think, for this award season. And given the year we've had, where there's only a handful of movies, I think a movie like this, which probably will not be very heavily watched, but will be very heavily acclaimed, and the odds are good that we're going to see some nominations for this movie. And that's just because that'll bring even more people to this story, which I think uh, is really effective and heartwarming, whether the immigrant experience is something you've personally experienced or not. So definitely pay attention to Minari when it's available.